Welcome back to AMTV. I'm Topher Morrison. It's Tuesday, February 12th, 2013. The next pope to lead to the apocalypse. How do you exactly submit your 2 weeks to God? Is it as easy as pulling a Tebow? Or spectacles, testicles, watch, wallet, and I'm out? It is, after all, a little more than merely telling God you're not coming into work anymore. As conspiracy theories abound over why Pope Benedict XVI was the first to abandon the papacy in 600 years, perhaps the Petrus Romanus prophecy is correct. The next pope will lead to the apocalypse. It's just not the way you think. The papal post is tantamount to being theological CEO of nearly 80 million people. The largest employer in the world, by contrast, is the U.S. Department of Defense, employing over 3.2 million people. Considering how much trouble they get into, well, that's another video entirely, but my point is this. Attempting to be mayor of Vatican City, God's priest, CEO of Catholicism International Corporation, and Jesus' best friend, on top of all of the other hats Pope have to wear? It's astonishing to me more popes don't ditch this job. Frankly, the Roman Catholic Church, like any big government or big institution as constituted, is collapsing by design, and it's been doing so for centuries, from its height of global dominance. From its first challengers, even before the days of Martin Luther, to its eventual acquiescence to reasonable reform under Pope John Paul II during Vatican II, the Catholic Church is as slow and resistant to address problems and change as it is keeping its adherents interested in even coming to Mass. Is this God's fault? Or his terrestrial leadership? The sprawling framework, which, albeit democratic to a degree, is very much an archaic command and control model. The only lifeblood sustaining this anachronistic infrastructure are their traditions of liturgy, the historic culture, the architectural nostalgia, tourism, and the millions who, unfortunately, for a myriad of reasons, still buy into this ancient ecclesiastical Rube Goldberg salvation machine. While Patrick Buchanan may think Pope Benedict's a godly man in an ungodly world, this is an old story, nothing new. The spiritual realm and that of the flesh have always been locked in awkward battle. The failures of the church to address sexual scandals, hemorrhaging leadership, financial collapse, moral confusion, and declining influence is something every massive organization deals with. That's why we break them up, or they fail. At a certain size, they become inefficient and ineffectual. The Roman Catholic Church is no exception. It is in this effort to sustain the unsustainable, Pope Benedict, an intellectual and a man who wishes to remain in his theological capacity, understood he could not operate in tandem, as others before him had feigned. It is not a victory of the secular city over the city of God, as Buchanan suggests, but a realization that for the Christian faith to emerge healthy amidst new challenges, perhaps the Catholic Church needs to face an apocalypse of its own. And like any monopoly, in this case, merely one that owns half the market share of Christians worldwide, it should break up. The independent, Protestant, and alternative Christian churches are the fastest growing in the world, and the largest, bearing the fact it is more about a Catholic crisis than a Christian one. The failed gods of communism, Leninism, fascism, Nazism, Buchanan mentions, failed because, like Catholicism, they relied on central authority to disseminate their gospel. On the other hand, the hordes of democratic capitalism, consumerism, globalism, environmentalism, egalitarianism rely on the masses, whose psychology portends similar failure. Christianity accounts for a third of the world's faithful, followed in close second with 27% by non-religious or those not subscribing to the 12 main world religions, then Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism, altogether accounting for 98.6% of the world's faithful. It seems like a relationship with the Lord is an intensely personal one, a relationship which doesn't necessitate buildings, hierarchies, or flair. In one of my favorite quotes from Pope Benedict, it seems we all struggle to know God. How he reveals himself either through reason, revelation, or rigorous religion seems less important than our effort to know the truth. The Christian holds the history of religions to be a genuine history, to be a path whose direction we call progress, and whose attitude we call hope. Capturing every corner of the alternative media, watch AMTV News Monday through Friday. Follow me on Twitter at AMTV News and like us on Facebook at Greenwave TV. For more videos like these, visit amtvmedia.com, home of the AMTV network, the voice of independence.